is statistics and decision-making processes. Okay. So here you look at the introduction, objective, definitions of statistics, roles of statistics, basic concepts in statistics, conclusion, summary, and then assignment. If we stay to the end of this class, you should be able to understand the various definitions of statistics, describe the uses of statistics, and then define the basic concepts in statistics. Am I being heard? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So, introduction. Introduction, you will realize that the activities of man, activities of man and those of the various organizations that will often be referred to as firms continues to increase. This brings an increase in the need for man and the firms to make decisions on all these activities. Now, the need for the quality and the quantity of the information required to make the decision increases also. I'll need to take that again and a bit slower. Now, you realize that the activities of man and those of the various organizations that will often be referred to as firms continue to increase. That is, activities of man, that is, our activities as human beings, and the activities of our various organizations. Let me use our school for example. So every semester we come into something new is expected. Okay, new courses, new challenges, and so as an organization, activities are growing. Then as a human being, every day things are also increasing. Your children keep growing every day, more demands on you. Okay, you keep rising in your business, in your career, in your education, so many things to do for you yourself as a person. So that is what they are trying to say here. Now, this increase in activities brings about an increase in the need for man and the firm to make decisions on all these activities. Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example now. Every semester, the scope of students I work with keep growing. All right, people are bringing their friends that want to come to the school, to the bus, and many things like that. Okay, it's actually one of the things that such was what actually affected me a bit this evening, because I spent a lot of time answering questions, talking to this person, talking to that person. It was until like a few minutes to the class, and I started setting up my system and all, and it affected us. Okay, so as a person, it comes to that time where I need to begin to ask myself, which of these things is more profitable? Okay, if I have this person, I have that person, they are all calling me, and I can't answer all of them because the time that they need my attention is very, very close. I'm now beginning to ask myself, which one should I, turn down? Which one should I, respond to? Because of what? There is a lot of activities involved, so there is need for me to take decision, okay, on when to do what and how to do it. So the need for the quality and the quantity of the information required to make this decision also arises. Sometimes you can't just take decision by just sitting down and just feeling like, okay, this is better or that is better. No, you need information, you need resources, you need to, get something tangible that will influence your decision genuinely. Okay, your decision should be very, very rational. In our first semester, that is in 100 level, first semester, where we are doing a co-1-2-1, we talked about economics, and one of the qualities we looked at was rationality. All right, being able to take rational decisions as individuals and firms. Okay, so this is where statistics comes in to provide you information that you need in order for you to take very good or rather rational decision. Now, the management of any firm requires scientific methods to collect and analyze this mass information it collects to make decisions on a number of issues. So today, there's a lot of information everywhere. Okay, so the challenge now is on how to gather them properly, how to arrange them, how to sort them out so that it will be clear to whoever is making use of them. So all these things is what statistics is all about. Now, such issues include the sales over a period of time, okay, the product's cost and the expected net profit. So in this regard, statistics plays an important role as the management tool for making decisions. So you just send it off. Let's say you want to take a decision on whether to let go of a staff or not. All right. You might want to check to see how productive, how impactful is that person on his or her colleagues, on the clients, and as it concerns different activities and roles that person is playing in that particular organization. So, and most of these things might not be ready-made available, okay, until you start asking for it. Having said that, let's move to the main content of the class. Do we have any questions so far? Do we have any question?
No, no question, please.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. So, definitions of statistics. We have here, statistics can be defined as a management tool for making decisions. So, in the introduction, we saw different explanation on how decisions are being taken, examples of decisions, and it's not just about decision. They talk about the information which actually helps you in taking decision, and the vastness and the huge quantity of informations out there, how they need to be sorted and gathered. All these are all part of statistics. So now defining it properly, they said that statistics can be defined as a management tool. For it to be a management tool, that means it is one of the weapons, one of the resources, one of the equipment that those that are saddled with responsibility of what leading any organization use in making their decision. It is also a scientific approach to presentation of numerical information. So statistics has to do with numbers. When we were in secondary school, whenever they want to define statistics, numbers was always coming up because there's no how you want to do it. You have to deal with what numerical value. Okay, so here they say it is also a scientific approach to presentation of numerical information in such a way that one will have a maximum understanding of the reality represented by the information. So it's statistics that will help you to understand, okay, what these numbers are talking about. All right, it helps you to have maximum understanding, okay, of what is being said. For example, you can have a list, okay, that shows the different quantity of goods that you sold. Perhaps you're into trading. So the quantity of goods you've sold over time. Monday, you sold 50 cartons. Tuesday, 20 cartons. Wednesday, 90 cartons. You just have it written out. Now, this could be very, very bulky or not well arranged. Like someone can just look at it and be like, what is this? It can be very, very confusing. But statistics will help you present. So present has to do with what? To put it out in a way that it will look more interesting, it will look more appealing. People will look at it and at a glance understand what that information is trying to pass across. And then you'll be able to make a decision. So when you have something like that expressed in a pie chart, for instance, okay, on a pie chart. So on a pie chart, you know what pie chart looks like? I just have to do something small here. So pie chart is something like this. You have circle. So don't mind my circle. And then you have maybe this, this, and maybe something like this. So you can shade them with different colors, okay, or maybe different patterns. Um, and then each one might represent something. Maybe this one represents yam, this one represents beans, this one represents rice, something like that. So has want to show the quantity of food being consumed over time in a particular household. All right. So with this thing being properly drawn and expressed, I can look at it and tell, oh, perhaps there's not much difference between the three of them. Okay, perhaps equal quantity of these three commodities were being consumed. All right, if maybe one was far bigger than the others, I'll know that, oh, this one is the highest. Okay, unlike when I have to maybe begin to sort out through a long list of figures to know which one is the highest and which one is the lowest. So that is what statistics does for you. It helps, okay, to present numerical information in such a way that one will have a maximum understanding of the reality represented by such information. And this is done what? Scientifically. Okay? Any question on that? Any question?
No, no question. Understood.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So we can move on. Now, statistics is also defined, that's another way to define it, as the presentation of facts in numerical forms. Okay? Numerical form is not always about presenting so it's not always about presenting so it's not always about presenting numerical information in such a way that people can understand. All right. Sometimes it could be about presenting other facts in numerical form. That means using numbers to express things. Okay, so for instance, something that is maybe written, all right, as a passage can be expressed in numerical form thanks to statistics. Okay, so that is what they are trying to say here. Okay. So I believe that is clear enough. Now let's say a more comprehensive definition of statistics shows statistics as a scientific method which is used for what? Collecting, summarizing, classifying, analyzing, and what? Presenting information in such a way that we can have thorough understanding of the reality of the information represented. So a more comprehensive definition of statistics shows statistics as a scientific method which is used for what? Collecting. Okay, it's used for collecting. It's used for summarizing. That is another one. To collect, to summarize, classifying, then analyzing, presenting information in such a way that we can have thorough understanding of the reality of the information presented. That's all that we have been saying before. So just for you to note all these principle was collecting, that's to gather, pick from different places, summarize, break it down, take out irrelevancies, okay, classify, to sort, all right, to sort them out. You belong here, you belong there. Then analyze to properly, you know, look at details on each, element or item in every information that has been classified, and then to present, to now put it out to whoever it is that will need it. Okay, that is what I'm talking about here. So you can always remember is just use normal life experiences. Okay, you gather different kinds of farm produce, and then you now start taking away perhaps maybe the farm produce we're talking about here is a leafy produce, maybe like pumpkins or bitter leaf or spinach. You now start taking out, maybe there's some kind of other leaves or grasses that were harvested together. So you take those ones out, then you have summarized, and you now start classifying. Okay, this one is ugu, which is we know as pumpkin leaf. The other one is spinach. This one is water leaf. You know, you keep them where they belong. All right, and then you now take a proper look at them. Okay, maybe there are some of them that are no longer greenish, or you take them out. You properly arrange them in a way that you will want to be able to price them properly, so that when you sell it, or sell them rather, you'll be able to make your profit. Then you can now take it to the market, so then you're presenting. Now, furthermore, they say that from all this definition, you will realize that statistics are concerned with what numerical data. Okay, examples of some numerical data are what a height and weight of pupils in primary school when evaluating the nutritional well-being of pupils, and the accident fatalities on a particular road for a period of time. So some places, most of us that travel a lot by road, there are some places that have been known to be death trap. I remember very well when I was in primary school, there was this book that we read. It has to do with I've forgotten the title, something trap anyway, but I know it's not death trap, it's something trap. And it's kind of told stories of how drivers get drunk while driving, how they put vehicles that are not in good condition on the road, and different kind of things. And some places were highlighted, and it was being said that about some certain percent of drivers that passes there in a day, don't make it alive and everything. I think I was also in a case where I watched on TV, and they were showing different kind of dangerous bends, road that has very dangerous bends that sometimes people that are not experts get into, and they get to have accidents, stuff like that. So what am I trying to say? People can actually get to know how regular some of these things happen, how fatal they are, and stuff like, just by keeping record of past experiences. Okay, so today you can determine the volume of food certain animals can consume in a day. Okay, and many things like that. Why? It is true statistics. And how does it happen? It's by keeping records. When you keep the record of things over time, all right, especially in different circumstances, you can be able to come back later and say, okay, based on this record, this and this and this is what it actually looks like. Okay, so they said that what you should have known by now, that statistics has to do with what? Presentation of what? Numerical data. Now, you should also know that when there are numerical data, there must be non-numerical data, such as taste of brand of biscuits, the greenness of some vegetables, and the texture of some joints of a whole cut of meat. So this course is, like, call it the epilogue now? Okay, that is it. It is a continuation of what you did in your first semester with MTH 105 and MTH 106, and then this course we're doing, we're going to have the second version of it, that is the STT206 next semester, and the two of them are building you towards a course in 300 level, which is research methodology. So you need to calm down and understand anything you're being taught here. So this course is building you towards that. And then your research method is what will prepare you for your project writing in 400 level. Okay. So part of the things that you really need to understand about writing report and stuff like that is that data has to be involved and this data has to be analyzed. And when you're analyzing your data, that is in your chapter, that is what you do in chapter 4 of your project writing. So you will see that that there are basically two types of data. We have the qualitative and we have the quantitative. Like when I was during my master's days as a course I did, okay, quantitative data analysis. So that is SQT. We also have qualitative data analysis. So we are dealing with quantitative data, that is numerical data, data that has to do with numbers, quantity. When we are looking at qualitative, that is not looking at that one that's not numerical. Okay, there could be data that have been expressed with text or through other means except numbers. All right. So they said here that what non-numerical data cannot be subjected to statistical analysis except if they are transformed first to numerical data. Okay. Now, to transform greenness of vegetables to numerical data, a 5-point scale for measuring the color can be developed with 1 indicating very dull and 5 indicating very green. All right. So I'm going to use another example here. All right. So I want to express the brightness or the dullness of a student, all right, in qualitative form, that is as a numerical data, all right. How do you do that? You can't even, it's an abstract situation, right? And that is why we have grade. So by the time you see check your result, you see A, B, C, D. So they have actually, graded it. So the grade A can be given a number 1, grade B can give you another number 2, that way, so that by the time you come out, they can be able to say, okay, this is what you have done, this is where we are placing you, and those figures cannot be used to do certain kind of calculations, okay, which can now be used to compare you with other people and compare your situation now to your situation then. All right. So you really cannot subject non-numerical data to any statistical analysis except if you have actually changed that. Most of the topics that I'll be doing down the line will make us understand these things far more better. But please, I want us to remember the only way you can subject any non-numerical data to statistical analysis is after you must have transformed. And you can transform them by, using codes and grades that are of numerical standard. Now, the roles of statistics. Does anyone not understand what I'm saying?
I think we're following you.
Okay. Now, the roles of statistics. Now, you will realize that statistics is useful in all spheres of human life. A woman with a great amount of money going to the market to purchase foodstuff for the family takes decision on the types of food items to purchase. Okay. Yeah, a woman with a given amount of money going to the market to purchase foodstuff for a family takes a decision on the type of food items to purchase. The quantity and the quality of the items to maximize satisfaction she will derive from the purchase. For all this decision, the woman makes use of statistics. Let's take it again. You will realize that statistics is useful in all spheres of human life. And then they gave an example. They tried to use the most unlikeliest of examples so that you will know that, yes, indeed, statistics applies to all spheres of human life. So a woman with a given amount of money goes to the market to purchase foodstuffs for herself and the family. Now, this man needs to take decision on the type of food item to purchase. Okay. Apart from that, you need to look at the quality and the quantity of the items. All right, quantity and quality are important. If you have a lot of children that you know that you know very well that are consumers, okay, you just can't just buy things without looking at the quantity, okay. And if you also have very very picky kind of um, family members, you also need to consider the quality of what you are giving out to them. Okay, so and then apart from that, she needs to look at the satisfaction, okay, she's going to get from any goods. Some goods might be of top quality, but they might not be satisfying. Some might be have a lot of quantity, but they might also not be satisfactory. So she considers that as well. Away from that, we don't talk about government. Government uses statistics as a tool for collecting data on economic aggregates. The economic aggregates, we saw this in our ECO 122 when we're talking about macro economies. So there you have national income, we have savings, we have consumption, and then gross national product. So all these are, you know, economic aggregates. They are aggregate because they cut across every fabric, every part of the economy, not just one aspect. Government also uses statistics to measure the effect of external factors on its policies and to assess the trends in the economy so that it can plan future policies. Okay. Government uses statistics during census. The various forms sent by the government to individuals and firms on annual income, tax returns, prices, costs, output and wages rates generate a lot of statistical data for the use of the government. So government uses statistics during census. That's another way that government uses what statistics. Now the various forms sent by the government to individuals and firms on annual income, tax return, prices, costs, outputs and wages rates and wage rates generate a lot of statistical data for the use of the government. Now business uses statistics to monitor the various changes in the national economy for the various budget decisions. Okay, so that is business now away from government. Okay, business makes use of statistics in production, marketing, administration, and in personnel management. So we have personnel management, we have administration, we have marketing, production. You know, I don't know. It's yeah, that is in this. That is this set. So we're looking at BFN 209. We talked about functional areas of a business, that is the operation, the finance, and the marketing. So when it comes to taking decision in any of these parts of a business, statistics comes to play. Okay, statistics is also used extensively to control and analyze stock level, such as minimum, maximum, and reorder. So when we say stock has to do with your inputs, your raw materials. Okay, is that raw material? Not raw material, that is goods that you sell, your finished goods. Okay, so the goods that you sell, at what level should it be? If I sell Gary, and then when my bag of Gary start getting towards midway, I need to go and get another one to fill it up. This I keep selling. Maybe that is how I run my own business. So I know my minimum stock level. That is, I must make sure that the goods I have with me does not get lower than this. Okay, we always have that. Then we have maximum. You give yourself maximum level. So when you know that you sell goods that are very very perishable, so you really want to buy beyond a certain quantity, except maybe in cases where there is maybe a special demand for it, or special demand, or there is an order, the order is ahead, you can just make provision. But sometimes you just tell yourself, okay, fine, I mustn't get more than 2 bags or 2 cartons of store, until I have sold significantly. Then we have reorder. So the other level as well is something else that we also consider when it comes to control. Okay, so the other level is a bit different from the other two. Okay, so this is the point whereby um um at the point that when the stock gets to, do you understand, you will just see that there is a need for you to make a move to replenish. So that order that triggers you to start making a move is what your reorder level. Okay. Yes. So it's a point at which seller places an order for his suppliers to replenish the stock of a certain product. So that is when you make a move to your suppliers. Please, so I need this. So your reorder level should be higher than your minimum stock level. So if your minimum stock level is maybe 2 cartons, by the time you start getting down to 3 or maybe 4, you reorder. So that between that time of you placing the order and them delivering, you would have sold those maybe 1 or 2 to get down to your minimum stock level. Okay, then we have, mind you, what they are trying to tell us here is not to define all these things. I'm just going that extra miles to do it for us because I know that we're going to do cost accounting maybe next semester, if not this semester. So in that particular topic or course rather, you will see all these things. So just know it ahead of time. What they want you to know is that for you to determine, okay, the minimum, the maximum, or the other levels, you need statistics. You just can't, say this is my minimum level, this is my maximum level. This is, you must have reasons for that. Okay, and that is where statistics comes in. All right. Okay. Please, if you are really understanding what I'm doing, you can give me a love emoji in the comment section. If you're actually understanding what I am saying. If you're not understanding, please just type excuse me. Those that are just joining us here, welcome. Okay, so going forward, they said that management also uses statistics to make forecasts about sales and labor costs of a firm. Okay, management uses statistics to establish mathematical relationship between 2 or more variables for the purpose of predicting a variable in terms of orders. So you can use it to forecast. You can use statistics to tell ahead that, oh, this is what is going to happen. All right. There are different kind of statistics out there that tells us that in so year, everybody in the world will have died of starvation, will have died of many things. Okay. There are many statistics out there and have said that, oh, in so time, this country or that city will have, maybe they will have been covered by water, different things, different places. All right. So you can actually use statistics to predict what is likely going to happen in the future. It may not always be accurate, it may not always turn out that way, but what is important is that statistics has made someone somewhere to be able to say with confidence that this is what the future is going to look like. Okay, now for the conduct analysis of biological, physical, medical, and social researches, we use statistics extensively. So when you want to conduct, analyze research, be it biological, we have biological research, we have physical research, we have medical research, and of course we have social researches. Okay, so biology has to do with life, physical has to do with presence, bodily presence, medical has to do with health, and then we have social, which has to do with what, interaction of people. So the researches can come in different forms. Okay, so I might want to carry a research to over people to monitor them and know what they are up to. I might want to carry out research, medical research on over not even the human being, might be animals. Okay, could be over environment, just to know the health status, the safety, and the the immunity of of my subject of study over certain kind of diseases. Okay, I want to study the topography of the land. Sometimes we carry research on some kind of places and locations like mountains and stuff like that. They're biological, all right. Want to study plants, want to study the sea, want to study fishes, the birds. Okay, that is biological. So all these statistics, all these researches need statistics one way or the other. Okay, that's why most times you see that the pattern or the way of carrying out research and writing out research report is always the same across all disciplines. Then we have basic concepts in statistics. So the first one is entity. So this may be a person, this may be a place, this may be a thing on which we make observation. So anything you're making observation on, that's your entity. So if your son suddenly got married to a young lady, and you really don't understand that woman, and you're keeping your eyes on her just to know the kind of person she is and what she's capable of doing and stuff. So she has become your entity. Okay. In studying nutritional well-being of pupils in a primary school, the entity is the people in the school. Then we have variable. This is a characteristic that assumes different values for different entities. So variables, take different numerical values. How they call it variable? It varies. For example, if we say weight, your weight is not my weight. Okay, our weights are different. So because my weight is different from yours does not make my own weight a fraud. All right. Age is a variable because you have different age for different people and different entities. Okay. Then furthermore, we have random variable. Now, if we can specify for a given variable a mathematical expression called a function, which gives the relative frequency of occurrence of the variable that the variable can assume, the function is called a probability function and the variable a random variable. Then we have what they call quantitative variable. This is a variable whose values are given as numerical quantities. Okay, this is a variable whose values are given as numerical quantities. Example of this is the word hourly patronage of a restaurant. So it is a variable whose value are given as numerical quantities. Then we have qualitative variable. So this is a variable that is not measured in numerical form. We saw that during the introduction, or that cannot be counted. Example of these are colors of fruit, taste of some brands of biscuits, etc. Then we have discrete variable. This is a variable that can only assume whole numbers. Please, yes, note that there are some kind of variables that only take whole numbers. If you express them in anything else, it becomes a fraud. So this is a variable that can only assume whole numbers. Example of this are the numbers of local government, council areas of the state in Nigeria, numbers of female students in the various programs in the National Open University. A discrete variable has interruptions, okay, between the values it can assume. For instance, 1 and 2, there are infinite number of values such as 1.1, 1.11, 1.1111, 1.1111, and so on. These are called interruptions. Okay, let's look at that again. So talking about so discrete value has interruptions. Okay, between the values it can assume. For instance, between 1 and 2, there are infinite number of values such as 1.1. So 1.11, 1.111, 1.1111, it continues. This 1.1, like what is there is infinite. Before you even get to 1.2, you now start again 1.21, 1.21, 1.2, 1.1, continue until you get to 1.22. Even this one self, before that 1.2, you will have 1.12. Like, so you can see that's interruption for you. Then continuous variable. This is a variable that can assume both decimal and non-decimal values. There is always a continuum of values that the continuous variables can assume. The interruption that categorizes a discrete value are absent in continuous value. The weight can be both whole values or decimal values, such as 20 kg and 20 point, 17, sorry, 220.1752 kilograms. So this one is the thing that it can be both whole numbers and it can also be half decimals. All right. But in this case, it's always whole numbers. And in between those whole numbers, there are infinite numbers of interruptions. Okay, now population. This is the largest number of entities in a society, in a study. Sorry. So remember that entities are what you are trying to focus on. So every item, every element that fits this entity in any study is your population. So if what you are studying is women in this case is your entity. That means every woman in the world is population of that study because they are all members of that entity. In the study of how workers in Nigeria spend their leisure hours, the number of workers in Nigeria constitute the population of the study. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you still hear me? Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
So we have sample. So this is a part of the population that is selected for a study. Yeah, I can hear you. You are loud. So this is the part of the population that is selected for a study. So in studying the income of distribution of students in National Open University, the income of 1,000 students selected for the study for the population of all the students in the Open University will constitute the sample of the study. Then we have random sample. This is the sample drawn from a population in such a way that the result of its analysis may be used to generalize about the population from which it is drawn. Okay, so if let's try to understand this too. This place now is part of the population that is selected for a study. So they gave example in studying the income distribution of students in the National Open University. The income of 1,000 students selected for the study from the population of all the students in Open University will constitute the sample. So this one is just part of the population. Now here, this is a sample drawn from a population in such a way. So in this case, this one, as far as it is part of the population, is a sample. But random sample is carefully drawn, okay, so that the results may be used to generalize the population from which it was drawn. So how do I explain this now? If we have a population, let's say a country, for instance, and you want to get this thing from its random sample of that nation. So you need to look at, for example, Nigeria now, you look at all the ethnic groups, you look at the different class of people in the country, the class of citizens from the, what do they call them? From the dependent to the independent citizens, and you look at that very, very well. So when you have sat down, you can now begin to pick people based on this criteria. So you know that if you can pick 1% or 2% from every class, it means that you have represented the interests of everybody in the country that is from that class. So by the time you now put all of them together, and you carry out a research on them, whatever you get as an outcome can easily be interpreted to be applicable to the whole population. So that is what random sampling is. But for sample, you just pick a part. You don't consider any special threat. All right, you can just come in. For example, I want to carry out a research on Open University. Okay, it might not be easy for me to gather all the students or all the staff or all the stakeholders of the school. I might just walking into the study center. I see some students. I give them questionnaire to fill for me, and once they have filled it, I just move. I use their input to make my analysis, and that is just it. So what I used there was, it's just a sample. Okay, as a part of the population. But if I sat down and I begin to say, oh, I need 400 level students, I found mass comm. I need 300 level students from computer. I need this, I need that, and I start looking for them. Okay, even those that are not easy. That's what you see sometimes. People have to travel just to find just a particular entity that will fit what they are looking for. Okay, so that one is what random sample. I believe that is clear, is it?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So now, what is the importance of statistics to human activities? Can anybody answer that before we conclude and call it a night?
It helps in making decisions.
Yes, you're live.
I said it helps in making decisions.
Yes, thank you so much. That's the most important thing. So it helps human in taking decisions on what to do at any given time, how to do it, when to do it, and stuff like that. So, and if you go to that section 3.2, you will get your answer. Okay. All right. Before we also conclude, there is something I want us to look at outside what I've done today. So there is statistics and there is statistic. Okay. So now statistics, as we saw today, is the process of designing, comparing, gathering, presenting, analyzing a rich of things that we saw. Okay, data. Okay, and it's concerned with what sample, all right, and not the population, as population is almost impossible to reach. That is statistics. Okay, why statistic is more about the score of each individual in a given data. Okay, so when we have statistic, there is no S on it, all right, and then when we have statistics, which has S. Okay.
Hello, the board, please come again. Please come
Hello,
again.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I said please come again on the statistic and statistics.
Okay. Statistics is so it's a very long the explanation anyway, but for you to understand the two of them, we need to go back. We talk about our population, we talk about sample. Okay, so that sample is a part of population. Population is the whole, all right, and of course it's almost like impossible to study population, all right. So statistics is about sample. Now we have an example here. They said in this material that I'm using here, let me just read out what they have here and then explain. So they said here that it is almost impossible and impractical for a researcher to reach the whole population. No doubt that the best results are obtained if each and every item of our population is covered, but to be feasible and quick, researchers randomly select a part of the population, which is called the sample. Now, when we obtain the result from the population, it is called a parameter. And when we obtain result from a sample, it is called statistics. Note, so when we obtain result from population, it is called a parameter. And when we obtain result from sample, it is called statistic. Now, coming back to the difference, statistic. Hello, can we hear me?
Yes, we hear you, but it's like
Hello? Yes. Statistic is the score of each. Yeah, are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening now.
Yes, statistic is the score of each individual or single data. Statistics, then that is statistic. Now, statistics is therefore the process of designing, comparing, interpreting, analyzing data. So, what they are trying to say here is that when we have a presentation of data, each individual item on that particular data, their score, their value is statistic. Then the act of actually processing, computing, interpreting, sorting of this information is what statistic is all about. Okay?
Statistics. But you just explained statistics now.
Sir?
I say you just explained statistics.
You don't understand. What I'm saying is that yes, I'm trying to differentiate the two. Statistic ordinarily, what it means, what statistic means is what a value that has been produced from a data collection, a value that. So when you have data, I wouldn't want to, because I know that this is just introduction to the topic or just to the course. So there are other things we will see later that we explain more about this. So when we have data collection, like you have, let's say, the size of shoes for different students or for different children, they will have different figures. All right, that's data collection. So the value that has been produced from a data, that is each entity, okay, the value that is given to them, all right, is statistic. That is what statistics ordinarily means. Unlike statistics, which we have seen, that involves analyzing, interpreting, gathering of that information. Statistic does not include all that one. It's just looking at the value that has been given to that is given to every data that has been collected. Okay, so examples of such data are summary, measure, an estimate, or projection. So statistical information is data that has been organized to serve a useful purpose. All right. So in that example I cited earlier, all right, the individual value that every item gets is statistic. So if I say, for example, now, let me use sales. We're talking about sales all along. Okay. Sales, let's say Mr. Ade sales generator. All right. So today being Monday, he sold 2. All right. That's statistic for you. All right. The next day he sold 5. All right. That's statistic. Now, statistics is that ability to, the act more like, or the science of gathering those figures together, all right, working on them, okay, processing them, analyzing them, so that it can be used to take decision. That is what statistics. So it's healthy to say that statistic is one of the bedrock that can help you, that can actually lead to statistics. Okay, but don't worry. In subsequent meeting we will discuss it further. But just know that both of them are not the same thing. That is why I had to point it out. If you see any write-up and you see statistics and see statistic, know that they are a bit different.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Any question, please? Any question? Okay, let's conclude. Now, in this unit, you have learned a number of important issues that relate to the meaning and rules of statistics. The various definitions and examples of concepts given in this unit will assist tremendously in studying of the unit to follow. Summary, that is what you have studied here, as I just said, will help you to study in understanding things that are going to come behind. Now, what have you learned in this unit concerning the meaning and roles of statistics and the various concepts that are important to the study of statistics? Okay, so you can see all these ones are the various concepts that are very, very important. That means things you need to know and understand if you want to be have a good time studying this particular course. So you need to know the meaning of all these things. And then we have the roles, okay, where we talk about decision making, and they give us different instances. And then there is definitions as well of statistics. Okay, so at this point, I think we can call it a night. Someone can pray for us so that we can retire for the day.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Father, we thank you for tonight so far. You have been with us. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the level of understanding we have gained through this course. We pray, oh God, as we go to sleep tonight, give your angel charge over us. Keep us, but tomorrow morning we shall wake up to thank you and continue our day's activity. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen and amen. Amen. Okay, good night, everyone. We'll see some other time.
Good night.